Jarna Gajjar, Assistant Professor at IT/ICT Department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome to the first lecture of Unit 9. Unit 9 is about DevOps, that means development and operation. So, in this unit, we will learn about various topics like what is DevOps, DevOps importance and benefits, then principle and practices, then 7 C's of DevOps lifecycle for business agility, DevOps and continuous testing, then how to choose a right DevOps tool, challenging with DevOps implementation, then what are the things that you must do for adopting the DevOps particular, then mapping of your particular application with the DevOps tool. Okay, so in this unit we will learn about these topics. So let's start with the first topic of today's lecture. So what is DevOps? So DevOps is a practice in which development and operation engineers participate together in entire life cycle activities of system development from design, implementation to product support. Okay, so if you are going to develop any software, okay, so DevOps is a kind of practice in which development team as well as a operation engineer are participate together and work together. Okay, so they participate together in entire life cycle activities of system development. Okay, so all the activities including designing, implementation, testing, product support and so on. Okay, so here in DevOps, development team as well as operation engineer or team will work together. Okay, so the term DevOps is actually derived from software development. So Dev from software development and information technology operations. So Ops. Okay, so the word DevOps is a mixture of two words. Dev means it represents software development and Ops means it represents IT operations. Okay, for an example like application and infrastructure planning. So you are doing planning for your software application. So it is a kind of operation. Then automation implementation. Okay, so if you are applying any automation implementation, automation tool for testing, okay, so that is also operation. Then incident response and incident management. Okay, so these are some operations that you are performing during the software development. Okay, so basically DevOps is a mixture of two words in which Dev from software development and Ops from IT operation. Okay, so basically DevOps is a group of practice and principles that perfectly blend software development and IT operation. Okay, so DevOps bridges the gap between the operation team and development team. Okay, so here operation team and development team are working together. Okay, so each bridges the gap between operation team and development team, which generally used to work in a isolation with another. Okay, so basically what in all the organization are performing, like a development team is different team and they are working in another area, and operation engineers are working in other area. Okay, so basically DevOps are bridging the gap between that particular operation team and the development team. Okay, so we generally used to work in a isolation with one another. Okay, so they are working in a isolation mode. Okay, but now in DevOps they are worked together. Okay, so let's discuss more about DevOps. So here you can see in image like what is DevOps actually. So development and operation. So it is a combination of development team and operation engineer. Okay, so they are working together. So in development, planning, building, coding and testing, such kind of operation are performing. Operations like release of any product. Okay, so if you are releasing any iteration or if you have released any working model of your project, okay, then operate, monitoring of that particular product and deployment. Okay, so these are some operations that perform after completion of particular software product. Okay, so development means you are developing something. So in software engineering term, you are developing a software product. Okay, so that all the activities for development is included in the development phase. Okay, so plan, code, build and test. But once you have done with the software product development, so you are operating it. Okay, so you are releasing its version, you are deployed on the customer side, you are operating, you are monitoring each and every activity of that particular software product. Okay, so basically DevOps is a combination of these two things. Okay, so now let's discuss about what is the importance and what are the benefits of DevOps. Okay, so what are the importance? So DevOps enhances the organization's performance, improve the productivity and efficiency of development and operational team. Okay, so if any organization that add a particular DevOps technology or DevOps tool in that particular organization, so it increase the performance of particular organization. It also improve the productivity and efficiency of the development team as well as the operation team. Okay, so it bringing the two teams together. Okay, so it centralize the responsibility on the entire team and not specific individual working. Okay, so in DevOps, both development team as well as operation engineer are working together. Okay, so it is the whole team responsibility. Okay, so if anything happen, then there is no individual person is responsible for that activity. Okay, so here all the member of that particular team is responsible for such thing. Okay, so it bringing the two teams together, centralize the responsibility on the entire team and not specific individual working. Okay, so DevOps is more than just a tool or a process change. Okay, so it is a kind of activity and practices, we can say that. Okay, so it is more than just a tool or a process change, and it inherently requires an organizational cultural shift. Okay, so how particular that the organization is working. Okay, so what is the actual environment of that organization and how that DevOps will help to increase the performance of that particular organization. Okay, so DevOps is very important for each and every organization, and this cultural change is especially difficult. Okay, so if you want to adopt any change in your organization, so it is very difficult to adapt that particular change in a short duration. Okay, so this cultural change is especially difficult because of the conflicting nature of the departmental roles. Okay, so let's take an example, like if any company is owned by some person and now he or she will sell that particular company to other person. Okay, so there are always a new management team, new trustees and all. Okay, so here change in cultural activity is very difficult. Okay, so for that particular employee, they can face many issues during that particular change. Okay, so here operation team is different, developer team is different, testing team is different. Okay, so if you want to adopt that particular DevOps, then it is very difficult. Okay, because of the conflicting nature of departmental roles, because operation, like, it seeks the organizational stability, then developer seeks the changes, tester seeks the risk factors. Okay, so what are some risks? Okay, so they are interconnected with each other. Okay, and if you adopt any new technology or new process in your organization, then it is difficult to perform perfectly. Okay, so this is the importance of DevOps. Now, what are the benefits? Okay, so there are three types of benefits you can get by adopting the DevOps. Okay, so benefits are like technical benefit, cultural benefit and business benefits. Okay, so in technical benefits, it continuous software delivery is possible. Okay, so if you are adopting DevOps, then it is possible to continue delivering of your software product. Okay, so once one of the module of your software product is developed, then you can deliver that particular module to any of the team member. Like if you're done with implementation, then you will give that particular module to the testing team. Okay, then user acceptance test and all. Okay, so all types of testing are done for that particular module. Okay, so continuous software delivery is also possible. Then there is a less complexity to manage the project, because you are continuously delivering that particular product to each and every team member. Okay, so you all know that if you are testing a whole project and if you are testing a particular module, then particular module testing is very easy task. Okay, so you can check for the each and every operation for that particular module. Okay, so there is less complexity to manage the project, then the problem in the project get resolved faster. Okay, because you are not checking for the whole project, you are checking for such module and particular component. Okay, so if you found any error in one component, then you can easily give the feedback to the development team. Okay, so the problem in the project gets resolved faster. Then it also maximizes the efficiency with automation. Okay, so here many automation tools are used to perform testing, to perform security, availability. Okay, so there are multiple tools are available. Automation tools are available. Okay, so these are some technical benefits. Okay, now let's discuss about cultural benefits. So the productivity of team get increased because if continuous feedback is achieved, so development team will work hard for that particular thing. Okay, so here the productivity of team get also increased. Then there is a higher employee engagement. Okay, because operation team as well as development teams are working together. Okay, so here higher employee engagement, then there arise greater professional development opportunities. Okay, so if you are applying this particular DevOps in your organization, then it also arise greater professional development opportunities. Okay, so these are some cultural benefits. Now let's discuss about business benefits. Okay, so how that particular DevOps is useful to the business. Okay, so that are the business benefits. Okay, so how beneficiary for business purpose. So it will give you a faster delivery. Okay, so the faster delivery of product is possible. The operating environment becomes stable. Communication and collaboration get improve among the team member and customer. Then you also have a more time, means more time is available for innovation rather than fixing maintenance. Okay, because automation tools are already there. Okay, so they are doing the such like things testing. Okay, so if you are doing automation testing, then there obviously it decrease your time. Okay, so rather than doing a manual testing, you can apply automation testing. Okay, so by using the particular or by applying or adopting the DevOps, more time is available, so you can do a innovation in your software project. Then it optimizes the entire business and gets the focus on what matter most. Okay, so that is the people. Okay, so here are some benefits of adopting a DevOps. Okay, so technical benefit, cultural benefit, and business benefits. Okay, so that this is about the importance and benefits of DevOps system. Okay, now let's discuss about what are the principle and what are the practices. Okay, so DevOps principle guide how to organize a DevOps environment. Okay, so if your organization is adopting a new environment for their employee, so and that particular environment is a DevOps environment. So what are the principles that guide the organization for the DevOps environment? So it incremental release. Okay, so first principle is about incremental release. So in this particular principle, what you are doing, you are delivering a continuous product to the customer. Okay, so you are releasing your working model to the customer. Okay, so in each and every iteration you are releasing something new in your product. Okay, so incremental releases. Then another principle is like automation. Okay, so multiple automation tools are available for testing, for implementation, for security purpose. Okay, so you are adopting this particular automation by using DevOps. Okay, so it will decrease your time, okay, for development of any software product. Then DevOps pipeline. So if you want to perform two activity parallelly, then it also possible by using DevOps environment. Then continuous integration. Okay, so if one particular component is ready and there are multiple components are there and you want to group together that particular component, so continuous integration is also possible. Then continuous delivery, continuous monitoring of that particular work product. Feedback sharing means if you have done with your product and you are giving that particular product for testing team, okay, for test purpose. Okay, so what they will do, they will analyze all the operations features for that particular software and they will give you a feedback according to their experience. Okay, then version control and collaboration. Okay, so here there are some principle of DevOps. Okay, now let's discuss about practices. So process automation means if you have done with your project, then you can do a testing automatically. Okay, so that is process automation. Then continuous integration means that we have already discussed in our principle, like if there are multiple components and you want to group together and you want to check for that particular integrated components, so you can do by continuous integration. Then continuous delivery means if customer will give you some new requirement, so particular component by component delivery is also possible. Then continuous deployment. Okay, so if any new changes apply, then you can deploy that particular product to the customer side. okay, or customer environment. Then infrastructure as a code, microservices, and configuration management, and many more. Okay, so this is about the DevOps practices. Okay, so this is about principle and practices that are included in DevOps environment. Okay, so now let's discuss about 7 C's of DevOps lifecycle for business agility. Okay, so for business purpose, if you are applying or adopting the DevOps environment in your organization, so what are the main factors? Okay, so there are 7 C's that play a vital role in the any organization who is adopting the DevOps environment for their organization. Okay, so an agile relationship between development and operations are defined by DevOps. Okay, that we have already discussed. DevOps are basically a practices or principle in which development team and operation engineer are worked together. Okay, so an agile relationship between development and operation are defined by DevOps. So DevOps is a set of rules and procedure followed by the development team and operational engineers together from beginning to the final stage of the product. Okay, so in DevOps, if you are adopting that particular DevOps, so it is a kind of rules and procedure that is followed by the development team as well as by the operational engineer. Okay, so they are working together from beginning of your project to the end of your project. Okay, so during the life cycle of your software product, they will work together. Okay, so to understand the DevOps life cycle phases is essential to learn about DevOps. Okay, so how that particular life cycle is working. So here 7 C's is defined. Okay, so the DevOps cycle is described by 7 C's. Then the 7 C approach to DevOps require an efficient integration processes and tools to automate the seamless information exchange and execution. Okay, so it requires efficient integration processes and tools. Okay, so they can automate the seamless information exchange and execution of the software product. Okay, so the 7C approach to DevOps also require efficient collaboration between all the stakeholders, empowering them to contribute more. Okay, so if you are applying that particular DevOps in your organization, so your stakeholder can also collaborate with your particular software product and they can also empower by contributing more in that particular organization. Okay, and the 7C approach remove all deviation of information and execution. Okay, so if any irrelevant information and execution is there in your software product, then 7C will automatically remove it by applying the 7C. Okay, so now what is this 7C? So 7C is about continuous development, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, continuous feedback, and continuous operation. Okay, so these are the 7C of DevOps lifecycle for business agility. Okay, so if you are adopting any DevOps for your business purpose, then these 7C are playing a vital role in the lifecycle. Okay, so let's discuss each and every component in a brief. So first C is about continuous development. Okay, so continuous development means if customer will give you some requirement, you are performing it and you are delivered to the customer. Now customer will demand you something new or something new feature to add into their existing feature. Okay, so that is about the continuous development. Okay, so planning and coding of the software are involved in this initial phase. Okay, so here planning and coding activities are performed. Okay, so during the planning phase, the vision of the project and scope is decided. Okay, so if you are developing any software, first what you are doing, you are planning for the software product. Okay, so what are the components, what are the resources, hardware and software resources that you are using in your software product. Okay, so how particular activities are divided into team members. Okay, and how it will be scheduled. Okay, so you are planning for your software product. Okay, so here planning and coding is involved. So during the planning phase, the vision of the project and scope of the project is decided, and after the planning, developer used to begin the coding the application. Okay, so if you have done with planning, then development team will develop the actual software. Okay, so they are preparing for the coding. Okay, so for the planning, no DevOps tools are actually available, but many tools available to maintain the code. Okay, so if you want to do planning, then you have to do planning manually. Okay, but there are multiple automated tools are available for maintaining your code. Okay, so source code automation is possible. Okay, so this is about the continuous development. Now what is about next C? So next is about continuous integration. Okay, so this is the main stage of DevOps life cycle. Okay, so developer should commit the change to the source code more frequently as a software development practices. Okay, so if customer will demand you something new, you will adopt that change, you will perform such operation, you will add that feature to the existing system. Okay, so developer should commit the changes to the source code more frequently as a software development practices. Okay, so this should be on a daily or weekly basis. Okay, so if customer will give you some requirement on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, so you have to adopt it as a developer. Then next step is to build the every commit. Okay, so if you have done with something, then you have to commit that particular work. Okay, so this is used for early detection of problem if they are present. Okay, so if you have worked for such component or one module, then you will commit for that particular module, then you will apply some changes to that particular module. So if any query arise between that particular changes, so you can easily track what particular thing is actually problematic. Okay, so next step is to build the every commit. This is used for early detection of problem if they are present, and building the code involves not the compilation, okay, but also include unit testing, integration testing, and code review and packaging. Okay, so here all the testing strategies are applied, and the new functionality is continuously integrated with the existing code. Okay, so as we have already discussed, customer will give you some new requirement, you are adopting that particular requirement and you are developing that particular new feature. Okay, so new functionality and feature is continuously integrated with the existing code. So there is continuous development of your software. Okay, so the newly written code needs to be integrated continuously and smoothly to the system to reflect changes to the end user. Okay, for an example, if WhatsApp or any Facebook application comes with any new feature, so what the developer are actually doing, we already using that particular application, but if any changes apply, so they will apply that particular change and they will release a new version of that particular application. Okay, so the new functionality is continuously integrated with the existing code. Okay, so there is continuous development of the software, and the new written code means newly written code needs to be integrated continuously and smoothly to the system to reflect the changes to the end user. Okay, so here Jenkins is one of the famous tool that is used for continuous integration, and once the change in the Git repository is ready, then Jenkins fetches that particular code and prepare a build of that code. Okay, and then this build is given to the test server or the production server. Okay, so here automated integration tool is available, that is Jenkins. So it is a famous tool that used for the continuous integration. So once you apply any changes in your source code, so Jenkins will fetches that particular committed code and they will build to the code. Okay, so then this build is given to the testing server or the production server. Okay, so this is about the continuous integration. Now next stage of DevOps lifecycle is about continuous deployment. Okay, so first we have learned about continuous development, in which we are developing something new feature continuous. Then after development we are integrating that particular new feature to the existing system. Okay, so that is continuous integration. Now next phase is about continuous deployment. Okay, so this phase deploy the code to the production server. Okay, so this is essential to ensure that the code is correctly working on the production server and the actual real environment. Okay, so the new code is deployed continuously, and configuration management tools play an essential role in executing tasks frequently and quickly. So here are some of the popular tools that is available for continuous deployment are like Chef, Puppet, Ansible, and Salt Stack. Okay, so these are some automation tool that is available in DevOps environment for continuous deployment. Okay, now the next stage is about continuous testing. Okay, so in this phase, software continuously testing for bugs. Okay, so if you have done with your code, then you will give that particular code to the testing. But here already automated tools are available for testing. Okay, so in this way software continuously testing for the bug or error. Okay, so the tool like test ng, JUnit, Selenium, there are some automated tools available for continuous testing. Okay, for software testing. Okay, so these are some tools used for the constant testing, and these testing tools allow a QAs, means quality assurance team, to test multiple code bases in a parallel to ensure that there is no flaw in the functionality. Okay, so Docker containers can be used for simulating the test environment. Okay, so QA team can perform more than two operations. So parallelly they can check for two modules. Okay, more than two modules. So the testing tool allow QA to test multiple code bases in a parallel to ensure that there is no flaw in the functionality. Okay, and the Docker containers can be used for simulating the test environment, and replacing manual testing to automation testing saves a lot of time and effort for executing the test. Okay, so if you are doing a manual test and if you are doing a automated test, then it obviously it a time saving. Okay, so if you are counting a currency by manually and if you are putting the whole bunch to the machine, so it will to minimum time. Okay, so similarly replacing manual testing to the automation testing saves you a lot of time and effort for executing the test, and the code is continuously integrated with the existing code after the testing. Okay, so this is about the continuous testing. Okay, now the next is about continuous monitoring. Okay, so if you have done with testing, now you have to monitor continuously about your software product. Okay, so monitoring is the phase where important information about the use of software is recorded. Okay, so how to use the software product, that is mentioned in a continuous monitoring phase. Okay, so where important information about the use of the software is recorded and proceed to identify the problem areas. Okay, so if any testing team can discover any error, okay, so they can also identify a problem area, and monitoring is integrated with the operational capabilities of the software application, and the system errors such as server not reachable, low memory, etc. are resolved in this phase. Okay, so if you found any error like server is not reachable, then there is a lack of memory in your system, so this kind of error are resolved during the continuous monitoring phase. Okay, so it maintains the security and availability of your software product, okay, of your service. Okay, so this is about the continuous monitoring. Now about continuous feedback. Okay, so if you are delivering each and every iteration to the customer, they will obviously give you feedback. Okay, so by analyzing the result from the operation of the software, one can improve the application development. Okay, so if customer will give you some feedback, so you are checking for that particular feedback and you are applying that feedback to the actual existing system. Okay, so this can be achieved by constant feedback among the development and the operation of the next version of the current software application. Okay, so if customer will give you some feedback, what you are doing, you are adopting that particular feedback, you are applying the changes and you are delivering the new version of your software. Okay, so by analyzing the result from the operation of the software, one can improve the application development. Okay, so this is about the continuous feedback. Now the next C is about continuous operation. Okay, so the next phase is continuous operation. So all the operation in DevOps are based on continuity with complete automation of release process. Okay, so here all the operations that DevOps are performing are based on the continuity. Okay, so you are continuing something like continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration. Okay, so continuity with complete automation of the release processes. Okay, so it allows the organization to accelerate the overall time to market. Okay, and it is clear that continuity is the critical factor in the DevOps in the removing step that often distract the development. It take it longer to detect issues and produce a better version of the product after several months. Okay, so with DevOps we can make any software product more efficient, then increase the overall count of the interested customer in your product. Okay, so this is about the continuous operation. So this is all about the 7 C's of DevOps lifecycle. Okay, so starting from continuous development, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, continuous feedback, and continuous operation. Okay, so this is about the 7 C's of DevOps lifecycle for business agility. So that's all for the today's lecture. In today's lecture, we have learned about what is DevOps, that is software development for dev, and ops is about IT operations. Okay, then what are the principles, what are the practices, what are the importance and benefits of DevOps environment, and about the 7 C's of DevOps life cycle. Okay, so that's all for the today's lecture. Thank you.